My name is Brian Jackson. I'm an amateur fly tyer. I've been tying for a few years now, and did a short movie on the Crazydad. Crazydad is a fly that was developed, I think, essentially for smallmouth bass fishing, and then somebody over here in Southern California developed it as a fly, and it's a very effective fly for spotted bay bass, and calico bass, sand bass here in the bays and harbours of Southern California. So it's tied on a size 4 hook. It's got 5 30-second brass eyes on it. The hooks, I used Ricky hooks. They're relatively cheap, they're very sharp, they're very durable, and that's about $6 or $7 for 50 of them. This is the size 4 Ricky 930, great hooks. The other adjustment I've made recently is I've been using silly legs. Now the silly legs are great, they come in a variety of different colours, but this is what happens, they don't last very long. Spotted bass and the calicos and the sandies, they've all got these little sharp teeth, and this is the result of a 6-legged Crazydad after a session in a good bite with the silly legs, and this is the result with these round rubber legs. They come in long sections like this. You can cut them to the length you want them, so it's infinitely preferable. So before I tie these up, I cut them to length. I think this looks around about 5.5 inches, and they do last a long time. So start the fly off. This is a Ricky hook. I've got into the habit of debarbing all my flies. I haven't noticed, this is the easy method in the vise here, I have not noticed that I've lost any more fish than I would have normally lost debarbing, and it certainly makes the release a heck of a lot easier. Easier on me, easier on the fish. So personally, I recommend it. They also come out of me a lot easier and out of my clothing. So standard technique. We'll try and fast forward through this bit. This should be a job for scouts. 100 hooks with eyes attached to them. So I like to leave a good gap between the eye and the eyes. So 5 30-second brass eyes. A lot of guys like to put some kind of adhesive on here, some glue, super glue. I don't like doing that. The reason is once these flies get a bit battered, I recycle them. I leave the brass eyes in a little bit of vinegar and overnight, and that usually cleans up any gunge or gunk. I like to parachute around here like this, and then it's just a series of wraps anyway, and it does the job. It stays in place long enough. So once again, this would be a great project for scouts. 100 eyes wrapped around, and that would certainly reduce the amount of time on tying flies. Okay, down to the end, down to the bend. I guess this is where the guys with the full rotary vices have a little bit of an edge here. So the legs, pre-cut to around about 5.5 inches, and let's get them apart here. Once again, it doesn't have to be that accurate. You know, we're not tying size 18 reverse parachute flies or stuff for trout and very picky trout on clear waters. So just touch it in behind the eyes here. All the experts out there have probably seen me doing lots of things wrong here, but this is the way I do it. Get a bit of a wrap on it, slight wrap. Then, as soon as it bites, I like to pull this elastic pretty tight. That also has the effect of letting them splay a little bit there, which adds to the rubbery leg effect. Okay. Next step is some body material, and I like to use this medium Parma chenille. It gives us a little bit of flash, and it just certainly seems to work. Why, I don't know. The combination of colour seems to work. I picked this up from a guy called Kevin Green, who tied a fly called the Krabby Patty. That was still is a very good fly. I think he tied it for surf perch initially on the beaches, yeah, I just decided to incorporate a little bit of it into this fly here. So just a little dash on the tail here, a few wraps. Again, you can put anything you like in here, it doesn't make any difference. Just what I happen to like. For the main body, I've got two choices here. One is to use these shrimp dub brushes. Very effective, makes a very good tie. This is the long version of it. It's a bit dark for what I want, so I'm not going to use that today, even though it's a lot simpler. What I'm going to do is create a dubbing loop with this Antron. This is brown Antron. I bought these bulk packages from a guy called Steve Parton in England, who's since passed away. He was an icon of fly tying in Britain for a long time. Actually pioneered the float tube, I think, in the UK. So I'm not sure if you can get it. It's pretty rough stuff. So what I like to do is I like the strands to be nice and long. So do it that way. I'm going to create a dubbing loop just at the front here. Small dubbing loop. Put my dubbing tool here. Oops, not going on properly. There we go. A little bit of light on the subject here. So just make sure all of this sparkly material is pointing backwards there. And I'll start moving the Antron in here. Again, it's all pretty, kind of keep it nice and loose and shaggy. There we go. And start to spin. So once this is in, I'm going to kind of pick it out a little bit. Just thread it that way. I like to kind of pick it out a little bit as I go. Rub dubbing brush here. Keep spinning it. Back there. That should be the lot now. I'm sure there's a lot easier ways to do this, but this is just the way I do it. Works for me. I'll just move this now well out of the way because I want to try and pick this out a little bit more, this Antron, give it a little bit of body and shape to it. I want this fly to get down to the bottom pretty quickly, so I really don't want much in the way of body. I want just the impression of it. I think it's the shape that counts more than anything else, so there we go. One bit of material I have started to add to all of these flies is crystal crinkle flash. It's a wonderful material. It kind of acts like a shiny lateral line, I think, on the flies. And I'm using bright orange here. Half is about enough. One flash down each side, so put that over there, save it for the next one. Just bring it up to the front here. Oops. One turn. about even. Tie it down and bring it under the eye here. Pull it over, get the other side done in place underneath the eye. There we go. A couple of turns. I like to cut this, make it approximately the same length as the leg, so it works out quite nicely, that one. So far so good. So just a couple more steps here. I'm going to use the put on the belly of the fly now, and I'm going to use this SF blend, flash blend. This is the redfish color, which is kind of goes with the top, which will be hot orange. So interesting material this, you don't need that much. Very effective in the water, it's very tough, it has built-in flash, so you really don't need to worry about adding extra flash and stuff like that to it, because that's built in. Lasts forever. It will not come off like bucktail does. And again, I want this to be a fairly sparse-ish fly, so I'm going to use about half of this. Just cut it off like that. Okay, I'm going to just pull out the center part there to create a bit of a taper on it. That's about right. Make sure that there's a lateral liner in the way, and you're basically just tying a clouser now up there. Grip, pull it over. It's about right, just a little short underbelly there, perfect. Turn the fly over in the vise now. Adjust it to what's comfortable for me here. And the wing, the final part of the fly, is this hot orange SF blend. Don't know why, they just seem to like it. Last year when we had the invasion of red pelagic crabs, this drove the spotted bass wild. And calicos too. And it just, I don't know, the bass just, some days just seem to love it. So again, we'll kind of shape it and tuck it up to the size we want. Want it a little bit thicker on the wing here, slightly longer than the belly. So again, we'll just shape it up, get a bit of a taper on it. It's about right. Level it over here, pull them tight. Let's build this head up a little bit. I like to give a lot of distance between the head and the eye, because the last thing we want is that horrible situation where you're trying to finish the fly off. So just finish it off now with this English whip finisher. Might be strange to a lot of people, but it works for me. I do 2 of 5 that way. That's it. Okay, and there's the finished fly here. So the last thing we got to do here is just trim this up a little bit. Just give them a bit too long. You don't want that little. Just give it a little bit of shape there. Kind of rough cut it. There you go. Good answer. That's the finished Crazydad. Try and get it up there. There we are. One Crazydad. Just to finish it off now, we'll put on a little bit of Sally Hansen Hard as Nails. Never comes off. A little bit on the top here. And there we go. Let's just hang her up to dry. So there it is, the hot orange over redfish Crazydad. Great fly, easy tie, give it a shot. I make these in chartreuse. Some reason, some places prefer chartreuse. San Diego Bay, I very seldom see anglers without anything chartreuse on there, whether it's a crankbait, a fly, or a swim bait. And again, around the Newport Beach area, Alamitos Bay, this is another good orange over brown patterns, again with the rubbery legs. And sometimes if you want it to just sink a little bit slower, I pad it out a little bit. This was made with the spider leg thing, the brown stuff. Sinks it a little bit slower. Again, that's sort of a darky brownie over a redfish cutter. Great flies, give them a shot. Thanks for watching.
I found my thrill